are the next thing, or what is the next thing for Muslims to do immediately after Ramadan? We have to make it clear that there is nothing you do before Ramadan comes that you cannot do during Ramadan, except three things. You cannot eat in the afternoon of Ramadan, you cannot drink in the afternoon of Ramadan, and you cannot have a legitimate sexual intercourse with your spouse in the afternoon of Ramadan. But if someone now comes around and tells you, during Ramadan, don't tell lies, during Ramadan, don't backbite, during Ramadan, don't steal, you are not allowed to do it, even before Ramadan comes around. So the first thing is, when Ramadan draws to a close, you ensure that you take part in Salat or Eid al-Fitr. That is 2 rakat that we observe in the Eid. Because the day we observe that the 2 rakat is not part of 29 or 30 days of Ramadan. So the first thing you do immediately Ramadan draws to a close is to join other Muslims at the prayer grounds to be part of the Eid al-Fitr. And the second one is that you celebrate in moderation. You keep clear of everything that Islam does not allow you to do, to drink, to eat, even outside Ramadan. Then the next one is you observe 6 days of fasting in the next month immediately after Ramadan, which is Shawwal. Clerics call it Shit to Shawwal. 6 days of fasting. These days, you might, if you like it, they may come one after the other and you may spread. Just ensure that you fast for these days within the 10th month, which is Shawwal. Then after that, you have to prepare to expiate the fast you invalidated during Ramadan. Maybe you take ill, maybe you engage in some activities that are so difficult that you couldn't continue with your fasting, or maybe your menstruation falls during Ramadan. So immediately Ramadan ends, then it must come to your mind, how are you going to expiate? How are you going to bring back the fast you lost? It doesn't matter that it should be the next month, it doesn't matter, but you just have to keep it in mind that before the next Ramadan comes, you have to bring back those fasts that. The next one is the behaviors, the attitude. You have vowed, you have made a promise with Allah to keep clear of, to steer clear of when Ramadan was coming, and you didn't do all through Ramadan, then don't go back to them after Ramadan. You have made a vow with Allah, you have promised with Allah that during Ramadan I won't take alcohols, I won't smoke, I will do away with fornication and adultery, I won't tell lies, and you do not do it all through Ramadan. You don't have any excuse to go back to those bad behaviors and attitudes after. Of course, Islam doesn't even allow it. Forget about either we're talking about Ramadan or what. So you are expected to use Ramadan as a threshold, as a doorway, as a doorstep to a brighter life as a Muslim. The next thing you are expected to do after Ramadan is to intensify the virtues you imbibed during Ramadan. During Ramadan, you are giving alms to the poor. During Ramadan, you were kind to people around you. During Ramadan, you were generous to members of your family. During Ramadan, people around you, your mates in school, your colleagues at work, everybody sees good things in you, so that they come around and say, this guy has changed during Ramadan. Then don't let that stop after Ramadan, and don't return to all those bad attitudes. You know yourself. If I steal, I know what I'm doing is wrong. If I tell lies, I know it is wrong. So I shouldn't be expecting somebody to be telling me that you are a Muslim, you don't tell lies. Islam discourages that. So after Ramadan, all those bad attitudes, bad behaviors that you have jettisoned during Ramadan, after Ramadan, don't return to them. And again, you have to be a responsible husband at home, for instance. Because the belief is that when Ramadan comes around, all of us want to be good husbands to our wives. All of us want to be good fathers to our children. All of us want to be good uncles, good nephews, good nieces. You understand me? So when Ramadan ends, ensure you intensify on those virtues. Ramadan doesn't tell us that it is only during that month alone that we should be virtuous. All year out, all months out, all days out, we have to exhibit good characters of a Muslim. But if you have chosen the next Ramadan, that this Ramadan, I will stop doing this, I will stop, it is allowed in Islam, but don't return to it. So be a good husband after Ramadan. You continue to be a good husband all through the rest of your life. You be a good wife to your husband. You be a good father to your children. You be a good neighbor to your neighbors. So good things that you did for them during Ramadan do not stop when Ramadan ends. And there is this saying in some quarters, people will say fasting during Ramadan is of the mind. That is, you can do whatever you like. No. As the Holy Prophet says, فَإِلَّمْ تَسْتَحِي فَاسْنَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. That is, if you won't be sad that people will be coming around to say, oh, so you're an imam and we can get you drinking. So you're an imam and you are sleeping with someone else's wife. If you won't want just such a scenario to play itself out, then stay clear of all these things. But if you don't mind, well, you can go into all of them and be expecting the punishment before Allah on the day of judgment. So it is not really that Ramadan discourages us from doing bad things. No, not Ramadan, but Islam in its totality. So don't come around to tell me fasting is of the mind. No, fasting is about the whole of you from your head to toe. Clerics will tell you during Ramadan, don't look at women. Don't look at people of opposite sex. Who tells you that you are allowed to look at people of opposite sex afterwards, after Ramadan? You understand me? So everything, every bad thing that you cannot do before Ramadan, don't do them during Ramadan. And every good thing that you can do before Ramadan, do them during Ramadan, except 3. You are not allowed to eat in the afternoon of Ramadan. You cannot drink in the afternoon of Ramadan, and you cannot have legitimate sexual intercourse with your wife in the afternoon of Ramadan. No. But the moment you break your fast, you are allowed to do all of that. So these are the things expected of a Muslim to intensify efforts on as soon as Ramadan ends. 3 things most important. Number 1, the moment Ramadan ends, join your colleagues to celebrate Eid al-Fitr and celebrate in moderation. 2, ensure that you fast for it. It is not compulsory, but absolutely necessary because the Prophet did it and recommended it for us. 6 days of fasting in the 10th month, which is Shawwal. If you like, do them consecutively, and if you like, you can spread them out. And then number 3, the fasting that you have lost for some genuine reasons, then think of how to bring them back immediately after Ramadan. We are not saying it should be immediately, but think of when you want to bring them back before next Ramadan comes around. So a Muslim is a person who is trained to change a society wherever he finds themselves, either before or after Ramadan. Some people will say, and I want to put this in Yoruba, that tó bá débi kan tíbẹ̀ bá ń dá mùsùlùmí wà ń bẹ̀ ni. Tó bá débi kan tíbẹ̀ ò bá dá kò sí mùsùlùmí ń bẹ̀ or mùsùlùmí bẹ̀ ò dá. When you get to a place and you see that a particular set of society is in order, then definitely there are good Muslims there, or there are Muslims there. But when you get to a community or society and things are in disarray, definitely there are no Muslims there. So which means Islam expects you to exude that aura of being a Muslim wherever you find yourself. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.